Gold medals to give away in men's doubles. Will Howells, Jack Munro, the number 1 seed, taking on the 2 seed of Eric Lang and Max Manthau. Just flicks the line from Howells. Top seeds prevail. Howells, Munro take the first, 11-8. Manthau and Lang take game number 2. Got him in the hip, did Howells. Another point.
Oh, Jack Munro.
Coming up big, and the top seeds are golden. The defending champions from Fort Lauderdale on the men's side also trying to punch their ticket back to Championship Sunday. Jack Munro alongside his partner Will Howells. Munro, 21 years old, from Buda, Texas. We've already seen him move into Championship Sunday on the mixed doubles side. Will Howells, 25 years old, from Boca Raton, Florida. This an interesting matchup, Chad. You've got 4 players that know each other very well. Howells and Dancuart trained together. There's Howells on the far side in the pink shoes, Dancuart in the blue shirt, white hat, and of course Howells has played next to Patrick Kawka at times.
Well, I was going to just open up with a little fun fact that Will Howells has won a medal with every single player on the court. A silver in Dallas with Mark Dancuart, a silver in Newport Beach,
yes,
with Patrick Kawka against Eric Lang and Max Manthau, and then gold with Jack Munro. So to say that he knows all 3 of these players on the court pretty well, yeah, definitely an understatement right there.
Does that make Howells the X factor then?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, because he knows exactly the play style of every single player on the court. So look for him to be the one that kind of tries to dictate where the play is going, pace of play. Munro is always going to be that steady rock for him on the right, set it up, look for him to also be exceptionally quick on the counters. But Will Howells, I think anytime he steps on the court right now, he's kind of the X factor in what he can create.
As we get set for our first men's doubles semifinal, if you don't know how to find your UTR pickleball rating, let us tell you how. First, go to utrsports.net and select Join. After entering your email, password, and information about yourself, you will be asked your preference of pickleball or tennis content, or both. Next, you will be asked a few questions about your pickleball experience, the amount you play, your experience level, and your USA Pickleball rating to determine an estimated UTRP rating. You will then be given an estimated UTRP pickleball rating, and that is only the beginning. Find and play both recreationally and competitively near you. Sign up today at utrsports.net. Chad, what would your UTRP rating been in your heyday?
Well, if I was to transition my UPTR rating from 2018 back when I was competing to UTR right now, I would be a 6.3, 6.4-ish.
Okay, well, that would put you in the range of the players that we're seeing in the semifinal.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, these guys out here right now.
I'm trying to help you out.
I know
here.
you're trying to make me, give me some confidence out here. But no, that's the reason why I stopped competing back in 2018.
And just started talking about it.
Was because the pace of play and the athleticism on the court is continuing to get better every single week.
Well, if you want to talk about athleticism, look no further than this semifinal, and especially Kawka and Munro. These two guys can light it up
as Mark Dancuart will be the first to serve. He and Kawka will be at the bottom of your screen here in game number 1. Munro and Howells at the top. An early point.
Yeah, look for Kawka to try to step in, be aggressive. Big forehand, big one-hand backhand. He's that high-risk, high-reward type player.
Dancuart sends it long, side out.
Yeah, good attack there from Dancuart, but Howells sitting all over it. Gets that ball back on him quickly.
Munro just misses the forehand roll.
It's a good ball for Munro to speed up there. Just came out a little flat. Look for all 4 of these plays to try and get their bearings early on here. They'll take some chances, try to dial in their shots.
Ernie to force the side out. And you already talked about how Howells knows the game of everyone else on the court, but they also know his.
That is true. That is very true.
Great pickup from Munro.
Yeah, Munro is so solid with the counters and the defense. Oh, the net cord helps right there for Kawka.
Getting a little love and a 2-point lead.
We heard yesterday in your interview with Jack Munro that his focus is on anticipation, and it allows him to have quick hands.
How is that going to come into play today in terms of being able to anticipate where Dancuart and Kawka are going?
Well, all 4 of these plays are going to rely on anticipation. They're reading the footwork, they're reading the paddle, they're reading the ball that is given to each player.
Side out.
And that's kind of the difference between the amateur and the pros. The amateurs have a tendency to react to the ball as it's coming off the paddle. The pros kind of already know the direction that it's going before it's even hit. It's a little deep there. Again from Munro and Howells, still trying to dial things in.
A really solid start for Kawka and Dancuart.
Yeah, and Dancuart's doing an excellent job reaching in. Good flip. I mean, Dancuart and Howells train together. They're good friends, and that backhand flick right there from Dancuart is something that we see Will Howells do all the time. So it's almost that Howells got a taste of his medicine, right? His own medicine right there.
Kawka and Dancuart opening up a 4-point lead on the top seed. While I have a break in the action, let's take a look back at Fort Lauderdale in our Vlasic Pickles Instant Classic.
The theme is new. It's a new year. We have a new location, a brand new facility, and gold medals to give away. Braverman sliding it through the middle. Fudge and Braverman are golden once again.
Oh, Jack Munro.
Coming up big, and the top seeds are golden.
Oh, net cord.
5-hole winner in Will Howells and Jill Braverman captured the gold medal in straights. New year, same result. Chris Hayworth is golden once again. That top seed coming through here in Fort Lauderdale.
That was our Vlasic Pickles Instant Classic recapping a great start to the 2025 season at Fort Lauderdale. We will be back at the Fort coming up later this year. That's in April. This has been a good start here at our Vlasic Pickles Daytona Beach Open. This our last full day of bracket play ahead of Championship Sunday tomorrow. Our first of two men's doubles semifinals in action as Dancuart just misses the forehand down the line.
Dancuart trying to sneak that inside out forehand down the line. Tough. Ball typically has a tendency to come out flat off the paddle because you're hitting it with the open face.
Kawka sitting right on the forehand flick from Howells. Another point. It's 5-0.
All over it right there, Kawka.
Another good combination. 6-0 to start. What are Kawka and Dancuart doing that's allowed them to open up this lead?
Well, right now they're being the aggressors. They're putting it on Munro and Howells before they get an opportunity to try and create anything. And when Munro and Howells try and do something, Kawka and Dancuart are sitting, reading, anticipating. Almost spot on right now.
Oh, Kawka sliding it right past the paddle of Munro.
And even right there, Dancuart with a nice flick, second attack. Kawka reached in, took that ball early. He's able to hook that behind Munro.
Better spot from Howells. And I go back to what we talked about earlier in terms of the familiarity. How much is the anticipation and the reading due to Kawka and Dancuart's familiarity with the game of Howells and Munro?
That plays into it a lot. And typically, it's whether you've played with the person, you've played against the person a lot. You start to know their tendencies.
That was a monster forehand drive from Howells.
With heavy shape as well. That ball was dipping below the net cord.
Munro on the board. That time Dancuart can't make the pickup.
But that familiarity is kind of the reason behind you see consistent results time and time again. Kind of when you have the same matchups, it's everybody knows the tendencies, and then you get that qualifier that steps in, or you get that unknown variable, and all of a sudden you get that big upset because you're trying to pick up tendencies on the fly.
Kawka trying to go aggressive. Dink caught the tape instead.
Chaos.
Going the way of Kawka and Dancuart.
I mean, Kawka stepping in, flicking it back crossbody on Munro behind himself. Scrambles to get a backhand on it.
Strong backhand from Howells to force the side out, but he and Munro trailing by 6 here in game number 2. Or game number 1, rather. It's 8-2-1. 2-8-1. I got it. We're good.
Yeah, that's a good spot there from Howells. Just a little too high there from Kawka, and gives Howells the backhand flick on that right hip of Dancuart.
Kawka pushes it long, back-to-back points for the top seeds.
Well, Kawka tried to do a similar thing here to Howells as far as going the left hip as Howells was sliding back to cover middle.
Howells stepping up and ripping the backhand.
Yeah, good timeout here from Dancuart and Kawka. Oh, certainly don't count Howells and Munro out of game one right now.
Howells and Munro fell down by as many as 7. They've cut the deficit to 3, still on first server when they come out of the timeout. What's been the biggest difference over this 5-point run?
Well, a couple of errors from Dancuart and Kawka, and also, Munro and Howells have kind of picked up the intensity a little bit. They're starting to take the opportunities to speed up. Howells is creating some pressure with those flicks. Kawka and Dancuart having a little chat right here, trying to dial themselves back in.
If you were on their side, what would you tell them?
If the opportunity's there for the speed up, try and take it and dictate before Howells and Munro can on you. Or if you are in a situation where Munro and Howells are looking to attack, be ready for the counter. Try to get on top of something.
Ooh, what a pickup. Yeah. Howells puts away the overhead.
The flick there from Dancuart, trying to be aggressive and keep Howells back. Unfortunately, in that situation, it has to be a flick down to the feet. You're not going to be able to keep them back once that ball gets below the net cord. And we saw Howells just step up, take that ball out of the air. Oh, there we go. Nice counter there from Dancuart.
Still second serve. Too strong from Dancuart, and Howells and Munro back within 1. Off the net cord, 8-all. This seemed nearly improbable a few moments ago. Howells' forehand catches the net, side out. Kawka and Dancuart getting back on serve, but now tied at 8.
Look for Kawka to try and step in and drive a third here.
Instead, Dancuart short on the third, second server.
No, Dancuart just walked through that drop. 10. Nope.
Spins wide, side out. So the first time that Munro and Howells have been able to force a side out without any points being scored.
Good read there from Kawka. Read the speed up from Munro. Say short and quick to the forehand right there.
Ernie winner from Howells.
Whew. Good move right there from Howells. Recognition, sees that Kawka is going to try and push it out wide to the backhand. So it takes off, jumps the corner of the kitchen. Nice, Ernie.
First lead of the match for the top seeds. Side out as Someone finds the hip. I think it was Kawka.
Kawka found the right hip of Howells.
Nine all.
A good ball there from Dancuart, catching Howells, uncoiling from the stack.
Oh, Ernie from Kawka, our second lead change of the game, brings up a game point for Dancuart and Kawka.
And taking that one cross court as well. Howells getting caught right on that right hip.
Dancuart and Kawka took the early 7-point lead. Munro and Howells battled back to tie it at 7. They took a late lead, but a strong stand from Dancuart and Kawka. They will be on first serve coming out, leading 10-9-1.
Yeah, and the last few points, we saw the quick side out at 8-9 for Kawka and Dancuart. They tried to just drop a third in, ended up missing one into the net, and then didn't really force any pressure with it. They came out here in this service side and drove a couple of balls, got some points, put the pressure on, got back to dictating the pace of play. So look for a big serve here from Dancuart, and then either Dancuart or Kawka need to step up and drive it, try to put some pressure on again.
Kawka and Dancuart take game one, the top seed on the ropes here in our men's doubles semifinal.
Years from today. At AARP volunteer and community events, they'll keep Greg active, involved, and
The APP is sponsored by AARP, helping your health and happiness live as long as you do. And Aura Organic, rooted in science, powered by nature.
The top seeds drop a game for the first time today. Mark Dancuart and Patrick Kawka using a strong start to take game one 11-9.
Yeah, Munro and Howells can't get in that 7-0 deficit here in game two.
Let's start off with a point off of the bat. Already a better start.
Yeah, Howells and Munro really need to dictate the pace of play here.
Another ball pulled wide. What is the key to Howells and Munro being able to dictate the pace of play?
Well, that was a better attack there from Munro. A better attack, better spot. Went out wide, got Kawka fully extended. Munro missed a couple of speed ups deep.
Kawka forehand flick to force the side out.
Yeah, Munro just kind of tried to bump that ball back. It stayed up high. I think Howells and Munro need to be a little bit more aggressive on their dinks.
Kawka and Dancuart on the board in the second. Oh, those hands so good.
Rock solid there from Dancuart and Kawka. Short, compact, getting that ball back on Howells quickly.
Oh, just clipped the back edge of the baseline.
Dancuart going for the Ernie right there. Didn't quite get enough on the backhand.
Kawka went for the big forehand winner, pushed it wide. 2-all as the top seeds get back on serve. The second seeds of Eric Lang and Max Manthau still alive in the bracket. They will be coming up next, taking on Stefano Verne and Etienne Blazkowicz in our second men's doubles semifinal. Kawka getting just a little caught there.
That is a very tough ball to try to speed up there from Kawka. Ball was almost completely behind him. Saw him stumbling backwards as he tried to swing.
Oh, Dancuart had it there.
Those are the misses you do not want to have and the opportunities you want to give Howells and Munro.
Especially already up a game when you're trying to close it out. And you hear Howells say, that's the way.
Yeah, and again, a better spot there from Munro. We saw a couple of those forehand attacks go deep. This time he goes into the body of Kawka. Oh.
We used to say the hands battles between the women were the best. I think this match, giving them a run for their money.
I mean, it looked like Kawka and Dancuart were in trouble.
Another point for Munro and Howells.
Yeah, they'll take the timeout here. Try to stem the flow.
Timeout on court. The top seeds trying to force a decisive winner-take-all Game 3. Fallen behind by 4 here in game number 2. They took the first 11-9, but a much stronger start here in the second from Howells and Munro.
Yeah, much stronger start. They're taking the opportunity to be aggressive and speed up and set the tempo, but also, we've seen a couple of errors slip into the game of Dancuart and Kawka, where in game 1 they played relatively clean. minimizing as many errors as they could. Good combo there.
Force the side out of the timeout.
Ooh, just wide.
Missed.
Good read there from Kawka.
Oh, a couple of balls that Dancuart would love to have back.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, kissed the line.
Dancuart selling it with the body. Howells thought that ball was going to go wide. Just caught the outside part of the line.
Nice little flick on the forehand side from Howells to force the side out.
Yeah, and this time Howells goes a little bit more elevated. Dancuart was getting those ones back that were linear into the waist.
Ernie from Munro to get the point.
Yeah, good move there from Munro. Recognized it early, saw Kawka's head go down. Wasn't able to see the move by Munro.
Oh, Munro not able to get the paddle out of the way.
Yeah, good spot there from Kawka. Tough on that forehand side there of Munro from the left hip to the left armpit. One, to let it go. Two, to get out of the way.
Oh, Kawka saying that's so unlucky as it clips the tape and bounces out.
Well, and these are the errors that they didn't have in game one that are now slowly creeping into game two here for Kawka and Dancuart. And another one.
It's another timeout taken as Howells and Munro within 2 points of taking game number two. You talk about the errors for Kawka and Dancuart, and some of them are self-inflicted, but does it have more to do with the fact that Munro and Howells picking up the level of play here in the second game?
Yeah, Kawka and Dancuart trying to do just a little too much. We saw the ball catch the net cord and kick out wide, and then we see Kawka kind of spray a ball a little bit there before the timeout, and that's where you just take a little bit extra on the swing, gets a little bit bigger. You're trying to add more power because now Howells and Munro are getting a lot of the balls back. They're resetting, they're countering.
Back to play, 9-4-2. Another Ernie winner from Munro, and it brings up a game point for the top seeds.
Another good move there from Munro. He's waiting to see Kawka's head down and eyes at the court.
Oh, get out of here, Jack Munro, a ridiculous pancake winner to send us to a decisive game three.
My name is Chef Jamoke Jackson. I'm here with Vlasic Pickles, and I'm putting the pickle back in pickleball. In pickleball, a chop is a slice from high to low to put a backspin on the pickleball. I'm chopping up Vlasic Pickles to make this sweet and savory chopped pickle salad. Feta cheese, Kalamata olives, olive oil, red wine vinegar, lemon juice, sugar, black pepper, toss to mix. Sweet, heat, and full of flavor.
Introducing Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous relaxed fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour.
Introducing Persona IQ, the smart knee. Address your knee pain with a replacement that contains sensors which capture helpful information such as your range of motion, stride length, walking speed, and step count to ensure your new knee is performing at its best. It keeps you connected to your healthcare team so you can receive important reminders and personalized recovery guidance. It's not a GPS. It doesn't collect where you've been or where you're going. Persona IQ, a smarter way to regain mobility.
Good move there
Let's
from
take
Munro.
a look at the Zimmer Biomet
He's
recovery
waiting to see
moment of the match. It
Kawka's
sent us to
head
game
down
number
and
3.
eyes at the court. Munro, you're going to see him duck and slap right there for a game point. He's sitting and waiting for the speed up here from Kawka.
Instead of duck and cover, duck and slap.
Duck and slap it back for the winner.
Dancuart and Kawka took game 1 11-9. Howells and Munro took game 2 11-4. First point to Dancuart and Kawka.
Yeah, good spot there from Dancuart. Goes crossbody on Will Howells up toward that right armpit. Ooh.
Howells just getting a little big up top by the shoulders.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, though, it's not a bad ball there from Dancuart getting it elevated. It's difficult to get extended on.
Oh, Dancuart, what good hands.
Very rarely does Munro get beat in a hands battle, but Dancuart, quick backhand counter, slips straight to the forehand.
Side out. One all here in game number 3. Very under control here from Munro and Howells. Howells stepping across to create and gets the point. Now Dancuart comes up a little short.
Yeah,
they're going to take a timeout 2 points ahead of the end change.
Again, those are the errors that Dancuart and Kawka can't allow to creep into their game because Munro and Howells are not going to give them the opportunities.
Our AARP match spotlight this week was the Men's Masters Doubles Championship. Steve Price, the price is right, picking up his first gold at any level, playing alongside David Spearman, who of course we all know and love and has been in this position before, but congratulations to the two of them taking home the gold.
Yeah, like you said, David Spearman, no stranger to a gold medal on the Masters Tour, but congratulations, Steve Price. Anna Shirley, Jean Hallahan taking it in Masters Women's. Cantillion and Dara taking her first gold medal there in Champions Women's Singles.
And of course, Marcelo Jardim, Champions Men's Singles. Chad, I know you and Dom believe that he could actually play competitively on the pro circuit.
I honestly think he could. I mean, he would make it into a quarterfinals for sure. I think he could have a good semifinal run in the Open Pro Men's Singles.
It certainly has dominated as Kawka puts that backhand into the net. Another point for Howells and Munro, and this feels like it's at the brink of getting out of hand.
Double net cord back there. And yes, I would agree with you there, Dorian. You know, if the errors continue for Kawka and Dancuart, it's going to be very, very tough to stay in this one.
Force the error there off the edge of the paddle from Howells. Nearly goes all the way into the bleachers.
Oh, Howells just catching that one a little too deep.
Gets Howells outstretched.
Kawka's actually been able to catch Howells a couple of times in the uncoil there.
Only a 3-point game here in game number 3. Kawka and Dancuart not out of this by any means. Beautifully executed ATP.
Yeah, good job from Howells. He had to scramble to catch up to it, but allows that to get outside the net post. And then nice acceleration, bringing that one back in.
Dancuart can't make the pickup side out. 1 point away from the end change. The top seeds leading 5-1.
Oh,
too much.
Kawka tried to hit it. It's out of his reach, and good thing, because that ball sailed deep.
That's when you just say good leave.
Yeah, meant to do that.
Howells finding the right hip. That sends us to the end change with Howells and Munro leading by 4.
And that flick was working for a couple of times there for Dancuart. Not so much right there. Good counter from Howells.
So coming out of the end change, if Dancuart and Kawka want to pull the upset, what's the most important adjustment they need to make?
Minimize the errors right now. Choose the right spots on the speed up. But at the same time, they have to be the ones that are dictating play. Whether it's more aggressive on the dinks, creating some push-pull on Howells and Munro and kind of opening up some holes either in the middle or down the line, or just come out and take the opportunity to speed up and look for a 1-2 combo or a 1-2-3 combo.
A tough task against the top seeds who, apart from a few vulnerable moments early on in game number 1, have looked very solid here over the last 2.5.
Well, they went down 7-0 in game 1 and still had opportunities. Only losing 11-9.
That's why there's the old adage that says you can't let top players hang around for too long.
Exactly.
Back to play, 6-2-2. Missed third, side out. If you're Kawka and Dancuart, you also take a little help.
Take advantage of it right now. Drive. Nope. But that's
Good
a
combination.
Good, yeah, that's that 1-2 combo right there. Speed up. Know that it's coming back. Ready for the second attack.
Howells finds the flick.
Well, and that's what Dancuart wasn't really doing anything with those forehand dinks there. The second one just sits up high enough for Howells to reach in and attack.
Just out of the reach of Kawka. They get one, but a side out.
And Dancuart has to be ready to attack that off of the Kawka drive.
Can't pop a ball up like that.
No friend was the net cord to Dancuart right there.
Oh,
Ooh,
good
miss.
lob from Munro. An uncharacteristic miss from Howells.
Yeah, he kind of just trying to push it down the line there, but almost
Where's that
just
point?
slid down the paddle.
Just in case.
Oh, another net cord.
A net coming to play today, side out. Too much off the backhand drive from Kawka.
Yeah, Kawka trying to catch Howells on the uncoil from the stack. Ends up rushing the drive, pulls it across the body, and goes deep with it. Yeah.
ATP winner from Dancuart.
Good patience here from Dancuart. And he goes deep to that back corner. Kawka again, just a little wrong-footed there.
You're Dancuart and Kawka. You have to get a stop, get back on serve.
Absolutely.
Time getting late here in game number 3. Kawka goes for the backhand flick, finds the net. Howells and Munro doubling them up 8-4.
Yeah, Kawka just rushed that one. Wasn't really set to even speed that ball up.
Came back with interest.
That was almost a bait ball there from Munro. Knew that if he floated it, Kawka was going to try and speed it up. He was ready for that counter. Ooh, just
long. Second server. Kawka into the tape. Match point.
Errors. It's the difference right now. Errors on the Kawka and Dancuart side.
Played incredibly clean in game number 1 to take it 11-9 behind a 7-0 start. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This one finishing on the other side of this commercial.
16 years from today, Greg Gerstner will finally land the perfect cannonball. Unsuspecting friends? Check. At AARP volunteer and community events. They'll keep Greg active, involved, and mischievous, and help make sure his happiness lives as long as he does. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Welcome back to Championship Court. Will Howells and Jack Munro, the top seeds, serving for the match after falling behind a game. Dropped the first 11-9, took the second 11-4, and now in position to move into Championship Sunday 10-4-2.
Yeah, better
Good
spot.
timeout.
Better spot there from Kawka, focused on being extended, taking that ball out in front, added some shape to it.
Kawka just a little short.
Yeah, that one was flat. Kawka just trying to guide that one over behind the backhand of Munro.
Howells puts it away to earn another opportunity to punch their ticket to Championship Sunday. Match point number 2.
Just wide.
Just wide. Kawka keeping himself and Dancuart alive.
Okay. Hanging on.
Got to string together some points. Missed ball there from Kawka. The errors continue to pile on. Sends it long, does Will Howells. A point for Dancuart and Kawka.
Oh, big attack there from Kawka. Dancuart just didn't get extended enough. Put it in the net cord.
Howells and Munro will both head to their respective towels before coming back out to serve. Match point number 4. It looked dicey early on, but Jack Munro and Will Howells will have an opportunity to defend their gold. The top seeds are through. We'll hear from them when we come back.
the BioFreeze USA Pickleball National Championships. November 10th through the 17th in Mesa, Arizona. Designed for pickleball's best. Amateurs and pros alike. 14 tournaments. 14 opportunities. Find your golden ticket tournament. Earn your title.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
When I have pain from arthritis, I grab BioFreeze. Unlike Voltaren, BioFreeze provides fast-acting relief. I can apply it to more areas of my body, and it's NSAID-free. Cool the pain, so I can get back on the court.
And Munro and Howells punching their ticket to championship Sunday. Back-to-back tournaments, trying to win their second gold in 2025. A little bit of a slow start, but they cleaned it up and won in convincing fashion down the end. They're courtside with Dorian Kraft for our Franklin post-match interview.
Thanks, Chad. Jack, Will, you guys are back into your second consecutive championship Sunday, an opportunity to defend your gold medal from Fort Lauderdale. A little bit of a sluggish start for you guys comparatively, even though you didn't take game one. What did you take from that game into games 2 and 3 to make the necessary adjustments?
Just aggression with conviction. I think we were just lackluster with energy off the start, and I felt a little tentative speeding up, but just understanding that the patterns will work, the percentages will work out. It just takes a while for sometimes it to even out.
Will, we've seen you play with Patrick. We know you practice a lot with Mark. He's your primary practice partner. How did that factor into the strategy of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, we know each other's games super well. They played a great match, super explosive. And coming out, we really wanted to execute to the best of our ability. But yeah, as you said, a little bit slow on the start. And then made the adjustments, brought up the energy, and got it going from there.
Jack, we heard you say yesterday that you've been really focusing on your anticipation in the middle of a point. How did that help you today?
Especially when the ball's coming harder than you expect. It's just expecting where it's going to go. And as I said, big stats guy, playing the percentages, and Will helps a lot because now I only have to cover a certain spot, and then he can cover the rest.
And then, Will, of course, the subplot today. Tomorrow, you will be going for a triple crown. You've made it into Championship Sunday in singles, mixed, and men's. What does that tell you about your game and how you've progressed year over year?
I'm happy with how I'm playing. Shout out to Franklin for making the best paddle on the market. It's really helped me this year. I'm excited for tomorrow.
We're excited for tomorrow as well. We will see you guys there. Who's going to meet them on Championship Sunday? Stick with us to find out.